You know, when you're live bait rigging or jigging, what I've seen happen so often over the years is, you know, invariably one person in the boat's going to be catching fish and then the other person in the boat isn't. And as anglers, we always try to figure out why. And so sometimes it might be a situation where the person in the front of the boat might be fishing a little bit shallower, a little bit deeper. And so the length of the boat is the difference, in the sense that the person inside of the boat where they're catching the fish, they're where the fish are. Other situations where the fish are spooking from the boat, where the fish aren't below the boat and they're behind the boat. So there's different variables that way, where one person could be having a lot of success and a person fishing literally a few feet away isn't catching anything. But one thing that's often overlooked, and here's the most important thing that you can match up on that really makes a big difference in my opinion, a lot of times way more important than color, is watch the angle of the line. Watch the angle from the rod tip to the water. If the person's catching fish and you're not, that's the first thing to look for, is watch the angle of the line. If they've got a lot of line out, it's going to be at a different angle. If they're going to have right below the boat, they're going to be at less of an angle. But that's the first adjustment to make. And the reason being is that sometimes if you let out more line, for example, your jig might be hitting the bottom a certain way, or you might be picking up debris, or you might be making so much bottom contact that it might be hard to distinguish a bite. There's all kinds of variables that can often just mean the difference between getting bit and not only getting bit, but being able to distinguish the bite and then catching that fish. And so if somebody's catching fish and it's not you, the first adjustment to make is match up that line angle. A lot of times I'll try to do that before I even take the lure out of the water or the jig out of the water. And 80% of the time, that's the ticket. That's the adjustment that actually makes difference and actually works. And so the whole key is keeping your line in the water, keeping your line in front of the fish, being efficient as possible, and just putting the presentation in front of the fish. And that's the number one thing. And so take that little tip out with you in the boat, and I know that it's going to work for you and it's going to help you catch a lot more fish